What's happening, everybody? I'm Steve, and welcome back to Junkdrummer TV, where I give my initial reactions, my hot takes, and my analysis on the drummers of today and yesterday, maybe tomorrow. If I stick around that long, I'm a professional drum teacher and a gigging musician, and I have been for the last 20 plus years. Okay, so today marks the beginning of my end of the year video series, which is going to be Quarantine Jams 2020. I am over you and ready to move on. But one of the things that 2020 has done is prove how resourceful musicians really can be. When they shut down live venues and the recording studios, you had a bunch of people at the house losing their mind, not being able to make their art, and we've all been able to figure it out. 2020 has also been the great equalizer, because we've all made these quarantine jams, and famous huge bands are making these quarantine jams. We're all in the same boat. I've done 2 so far. One is about to be released, and if things go right, I'll be doing 2 more quarantine jams with my best friends in the Drunk Uncle Radio podcast. If you haven't watched that, that's my new show. Go check that out. That's with my buddies from Nashville, John, Adam, and Jimmy, and we'll be doing quarantine jams later. But everyone's doing them. I've already done one video of Metallica's quarantine jam, and today we're going to be doing Baroness. This is an analyzed video because I know Baroness very well. They're one of my favorite bands. I don't want to get too much in the preamble about them. Also, I think this is the first time that we'll be doing an Argentinian drummer. We're going to be, of course, watching Sebastian Thomson. But the one thing that I want to say about Baroness before we get into them, I know they're popular. I know they're big. They're not big enough for me. I think Baroness should be big enough to sell out Wembley Stadium like 3 days in a row. I think they're super underappreciated. They should be way bigger than they are. I think they should be as big as the Foo Fighters. But that is my just quick simp of Baroness. Before we get into the video, I'd like to remind everyone that I am running a promotion on my merch page. Promo code Christmas to get 15% off everything until the end of the year. Please check out my Patreon. And if you dig this, please help me feed the algorithm and give me a like, a comment, and a share. Also, I do have a few of these quarantine jam videos lined up, but I don't have enough. So please, in the comments section, please help me out and give me other quarantine jams to finish out the year with. So let's watch Sebastian Thomson, Virginia's own Baroness, doing Tourniquet. Now, I'm going to skip the whole acoustic section at the beginning and get right into where the whole band starts. Excellent bearded bald man. Okay, so right off the bat, Mr. Sebastian is doing a very interesting little hi-hat thing there. It's just a 16th note groove on the hi-hat, and hopefully you'll notice he's opening the hi-hat in some unconventional places. He's opening them on the E of 4. I think there was like an of 2 in there. He's playing a pretty straight ahead groove, but he's able to spice it up and make it a little bit less standard by opening those hi-hats in syncopated places in the beat, instead of just like the old-fashioned and a 4 that we all do with our hi-hat openings. Yeah, right there he opened it on the and of 1 or the of 1. Gina is a beast. Gina Gleason is the shit. I love her. I love this band. I've got to see them when the world opens up. Okay, so I know that lately I've been getting some hell in the comment section about commenting too much about the band and not enough on the drummer. But man, that shit's just going to happen around here because we're drummers, but we're also musicians, and we're also song makers. We make songs, and we're interested in what makes songs cool. This little hook right here is it's like 80s new wave guitar lick, like something from like like Simple Minds or something, but it's so cool. And I know they're a sludgy heavy band, but this ultra melodic line that Gina plays right here, these are the things that make Baroness Baroness for me. He is utilizing all of your syncopated, your E's and your U's. You know, he's playing a pretty standard 2 and 4 type thing, but he's spicing it up, and he was doing it right there, like as if he was doing it on the hi-hat opening, where he's putting these little shoulder of the stick into the side of the ride cymbal with these accents on the uhs and the e's and the ands, anything but the downbeat. And those are just real simple ways to spice up your groove while not fucking with the basis of that groove, which is just that kind of standard 2 and 4. You'll notice he's playing a lot of wrist. And sometimes when we play with a lot of wrist, we'll want to be too stiff, but he's not stiff at all. He's still relaxed. He's not using a whole lot of finger. I love this record. Lefty drummers always look wrong to me. Okay. I love this band so much. Notice, we've got that 16th note groove all the way through up until this point, and that 16th note groove sets a mood of, tick, 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 type, that kind of feel to it. And as soon as he drops to the 8th note right here, it just, the song opens up groove-wise. So you go from that all the way through it to, sloshy, slightly kind of swung, almost Phil Rudd style on the hi-hat to that. And it just opens up in that groove. It hits. It hits real hard. There's your 6-tuplet drum fills, kiddies. There's something that he's done a few times in this so far, and it's a trick that I do, and it's a trick that I got from Dave Aberzeese. If you notice, when he does that crash, the main crash is on the 1. But he plays an crash going into it low. So like, so that on his left hand is like a setup crash for when he goes down to the big 1, which is the resolution point of that drum fill or that crash cymbal. I'm gonna bring it back just a smidge, as we say down south, so you can see that trick. Dave Aberzeese used that all the time. Come right here. Right there. So it sets up that main crash on the 1. Now back to more of that frenetic feel with the 16th notes on the ride. Real smooth, Bonham-esque 6-tuplets. Good composition of arrangement. Notice the first time she plays that, what I call that 80s new wave guitar riff over top of it. Second time through, I can't remember Baroness's lead singer's name. I just know Gina and Sebastian. He's now playing it as a harmony, and it makes it bigger than the first time. I always think like a good... As a rule, a good recording of a song should always be going this way. Should be adding and trying to end that song at a peak, and that's a way to do it right there, is to harmonize that lick you've already heard the first time with one guitar. It's got that cymbal really taped. I'm sure that's probably for recording purposes. That guitar line is so cool. This band's so fucking good. I'm going to talk more as we go into these quarantine jams about the recording process, because that's another thing that these quarantine recordings have forced a lot of us to do, which is learn how to be engineers. And I hate it. I love recording. I hate the craft of recording engineering. I hate it. Blah, I hate it. Blah. Fucking preamps and microphones and cords runs me crazy. I always say I like to be the dude that comes in after the engineers have set up all the microphones and hook them up with some adult sage and some adult beverages afterwards, because I hate dealing with that, but I was forced to do it. I don't want to get too much into it now because I'm going to later in other videos. But notice that he's only really miking this drum set with what looks to be one overhead. I bet you there's a bass drum mic on it, but he's still getting a good sound because he's a really good drummer and he knows touch, and he's probably done a bunch of sound checks and figured out, okay, this one microphone's working. I need to now play to that microphone. John Bonham did that all the time. If you know about Led Zeppelin, all those drums were recorded with 3 microphones for the most part. If I'm not mistaken, almost all of it is. You know, we think about close miking everything and having fucking 25 microphones on the drum set. This is true. This is proof that you can still get a good drum sound if you can play to the sound of what that mic is picking up. Good on you. Sebastian Thomson, Baroness. I cannot believe I can't remember that lead singer's name. I love this band. What you saw today was taking things that could be standard, pedestrian, and spicing them up in a way that doesn't get in the way of the arrangement and the song, and he's a master of it. Now, if you're a Baroness fan, you know there's so many more tracks of him, you know, playing in a more virtuoso style. I love this song. I think it's one of their best songs ever. I think this song should be like #1 on the charts. They should be so much bigger than they are. I know they're big, but they're not big enough for me. I think they're one of the best, most underrated bands that's been out in the last like 10 or 15 years. Actually, I got into them because I'm into Mastodon, and you know that kind of how one band will get you into another, and that's what happened today. So I'm going to be doing the rest of the year quarantine recordings. I don't have enough right now, so people in the comment section, please help me out and give me some links. If you enjoyed everything, please like, comment, and share. Help me feed the algorithm. Check out my Patreon. Check out my merch page. Everyone, I know it's getting worse out there. I hope that you are staying sane and checking in on your friends and doing the things that keep you in a good mental health state, because I know it's getting shitty out there. I hope everyone has a good Thanksgiving, no matter how you're going to go about that Thanksgiving. Call your mom, call your dad, call your mama, and keep practicing until it's easy.